So it's the last day of 2024, and I didn't really have any reference photo video for tomorrow morning, for January 1st. And then I pulled through McDonald's. That's where I am right now. I'm at the back of McDonald's. And the yard behind McDonald's looks very beautiful. So let me turn this around and show you what I'm talking about. We'll take a little walk. Look at that. You see how beautiful that looks? All right, let me take a walk and see if we can get some reference photos. I think I already have a reference photo right there. So I'm just walking with my phone. I don't have any stabilizer on my phone right now, so it's probably shaky. But I promise you, I'm behind McDonald's. See, this is the drive-through. You know, back here, by the way, years ago, this used to be, I used to see cows back here. I'm not making that up. So you go to McDonald's and you would see cows behind McDonald's. I like the way this looks. Look at that beautiful blue sky. Wow. That looks really nice. Let's see if I walk closer to the fence. Yeah, this is a manicured lawn right now, but like I said, there used to be cows back here. Wonder what happened to the farm that used to be here. Probably got bought out by a builder. Probably going to develop this one day. Right now it's very rustic looking. But look at that. That old fence right there. That looks really nice. You can make that into a painting right there. Look at that beautiful blue sky. There's some more Spanish moss for those who have expressed an interest in Spanish moss. There it is. Yep, it's everywhere. So, look at this tree. All right, let me pan the area. Let's see what else looks good. That looks nice too. Very pretty. Isn't it amazing what's in your own backyard? Or in this case, in McDonald's backyard. Old MacDonald had a yard. E-I-E-I-O. And I got some reference photos there. Honking on your horn. Let's see. What's over by this fence? Oh, look at this. Wait a minute. There's an old wooden gate back here. Look at that. Now there's a work of art waiting to be painted. The sunlight is hitting everything just beautifully. Yeah. Some palm. I don't know if they're called palm trees. They're just palm bushes. Let's see the sun coming through. Oh man, this whole area is just made for painting right here. See, you never know where you're gonna find a reference photo. Look at this old tree right here. That's kind of nice too, right there. Look at that. I don't know what I'm gonna pick. Well, yesterday I felt like nothing looked good, and today everything looks good. Look at this whole tree though. Look at it. Look at the detail in that tree. And that fence post. That fence post has been around a long time. There's the barbed wire. There's the other half of that tree, I think. The other day there was a story about a guy who was picking at the bark of a tree and he got bit by a snake. I'm not gonna pick at the bark. But there's a hole right there. I bet you something lives in that hole. That looks nice. Go a little farther. I kind of like the way those picnic tables look too. They say stop and smell the roses. I say stop and get a reference photo. What is this? What is that? Is that a pomegranate? What do you think that is? It didn't come off of this tree. Somebody must have thrown it back here. But this tree has berries on it. Let's use berries. I don't know what kind of tree that is. Yeah, there's a lot of nice shots back here. That tall grass being lit by the sun over there. All right, back to the civilized world. I want to get a shot of this picnic table though. I know I got it when I first came out here. See? McDonald's is right there, and everybody's eating in their car. They could get out of their car and eat right here at the picnic table. I wonder if the employees come here to eat. That's kind of nice too. Yeah, it's kind of nice too. Let me see this picnic table here. Oh, I like that too. Very nice. All right, that's the reference photo for tomorrow. Okay, well, Happy New Year. It's the first day of 2025. The first day of 2025. Back in the day, back in the past, we would always be telling ourselves, all right, I'm not going to make a mistake when I write a check. I'm going to remember the date. And probably we still have to do that with a lot of things, but I don't really write. I'm going to say I don't write any checks anymore, but I probably have a check or two I write. I don't know. I don't think I do. I really don't think I do. I have a checking account, obviously. I guess that's obvious. I'm going to try and keep some of these areas here for the clouds. We'll work on how to do the clouds in a moment. Yeah, this was a very blue sky yesterday. It was a nice blue sky. So we'll see how this goes. And I'm using this watercolor-ish technique. It's gouache paint, but I'm using it like watercolor for now. And what it does, because it's regular paper, not watercolor paper, is I noticed the best way to describe what it does is it stains the paper. it has a staining effect on the paper. That's one thing I noticed about it. It's not like paint. Now, once it's on there, then you paint over paint. Then it's more like paint. But I noticed the first thing when you use this gouache as watercolor on this paper is this more of a stain. So, hey, you know what? You do what works, right? And I know I started out with a book that probably wasn't intended to be painted in. But you know what? I have a slat of wood that I'm going to paint one of these days. And I got the slat of wood at the church when they were having their trunk or treat event. Yes, I did. Now what's the story behind that? Well, the trunk or treat event, while it's supposed to be an opportunity to give children a safe alternative to trick-or-treating, so they're not walking through the neighborhood. Instead, they're walking through a safe environment, a church parking lot specifically in this case. But some people use it as an opportunity to market. And so there was a karate school, a martial arts school, and they were giving out candy and all that, but they were also demonstrating or allowing kids to participate in breaking a piece of wood, karate chopping a piece of wood. And so I was walking around with my camera that day, just documenting everybody, having fun like everybody else. And so they challenged me to break the wood. I was like, okay. I mean, it was really easy, to be honest with you. But I kept the two halves, the two pieces that were the result of me karate chopping it. Hi-ya. Yeah, I broke the wood. So I kept the wood, and I'm going to paint it one of these days. I keep telling myself I'll do that. Probably with acrylic, of course. Yeah. Did you know there's a substance you can buy, and actually you can make it too, where you can take a non-watercolor surface and you can make it a watercolor surface. I'll have to look that up. I can't remember how to make it. I think you mix oh gosh, can't really remember, but I think you mix gesso with something else. But you can also buy it straight out of the tub. Yep. Alright, let's get some green here. Now the grass is not as green as the sky is blue. So the sky can be blue even in the middle of winter. But the grass is not always green, even in Florida. It's not always that green. Here in Central Florida, some of the farms, the horse farms, plant something called winter rye. And winter rye is very super green. I don't know if there's any out there right now. It's January 1st, so it's possible that if I drove around the area, I would find some farms with winter rye growing in the fields. We'll see. Maybe I'll go out and maybe Robin and I'll take a ride today. I hope she's feeling better. She seems like she's doing a lot better, so we're both getting over a cold. If you don't listen or watch every one of our videos, I'm rambling on as if you've heard me say that before. Yeah, we didn't stay up till midnight, by the way, last night. I tried. And I said, you know what, this is crazy. This is stupid. The neighbors were blowing off fireworks. I said, you know what, I can hear the fireworks from bed. I'll just go to bed, and I don't even think the fireworks woke me up. Once I fell asleep, I was out. So did you stay up yourself? How did you do? How did you do at the midnight hour? Did you turn into a pumpkin? Did you turn into a pumpkin? Now, why would you do that? Why would you turn into a pumpkin? I'm just again, I'm doing a mixture of, well, that's a wet brush, obviously, but I'm doing a lot of dry brush stuff here. Just because I like doing dry brush, I guess. A lot of dark areas here under this brush. I think the dark areas give you the sense of mystery. The sense of a mystery and this open field. This just feels like an open field here. All right, now let me think of how to do those clouds. I've looked at clouds from both sides now. What a great line that is. Joni Mitchell, you know what? She wrote those lines when she was so young. Sometimes young writers write some of the best stuff. If you look at some of the best works of some of your favorite writers, a lot of the times you'll say, wow, he or she was so young. And they wrote something so profound. There's probably a lot of examples of that. So speaking of songs and songwriting, so yesterday I was driving and I listened to the radio, and Taylor Swift, a song came on. I didn't know it was Taylor Swift because I really don't know the artists like when I was younger. I used to know all the artists' names and everything, but I honestly didn't really know who it was singing. And the song said, I have one condition, something, that you'll remember me standing in a nice dress, staring at the sunset. And I thought, isn't that a great line? You'll remember me standing in a nice dress, standing in the sunset. I thought, that sounds like an idea for a picture, for a painting. And so that's what I did. I did it last night, but it's a digital painting. I did it on Procreate. I don't think it takes away at all. You know, when you get an idea, whenever I have an assignment, by the way, from like a book author or a book publisher, it's always digital. Only if they've specifically asked for paper do I do it on paper anymore, because you can adjust it so much. There's so many revisions when doing illustrations for publishers and authors. There's so many things that they need to be changed. It just makes sense to take the idea and put it down in digital form. Now, if you're not an artist, I think all artists know this, but if you're not an artist, you might not quite know the difference between digital, when somebody says they did digital art, and AI art. So here's the difference. All AI art is digital, but all digital art is not AI. Get it? So a computer makes AI art, but an artist makes digital art that is not AI. So AI, yes, a computer makes digital art with artificial intelligence. But humans can also make digital art with the digital program, like Adobe, what's it called, Photoshop, or the one I use, which is Procreate. Yep, absolutely. That's the real truth right there. All right, let me try to make get a little bit of blue and red, see if I can get some very hint of purple there. Just a little hint. I don't want to get too much. Get it really thinned out. It was a rainy day yesterday, part of the day. In fact, it poured over by the airport. But most of, like when I took this walk, it was a nice day. Alright, let me smear that around. Let me blend that in there. There, now we got some of that undershadow for the cloud. Just taking a damp brush, smushing it around, smushing it. There we go. We got that look of clouds. I guess that's a good look of clouds. A little bit darker on the top of the clouds. A little brighter blue. More stark. Here we go. There it is, my cloudy sky. We got the foundation of what's on the bottom here. And I'll start to do the rest of the brush and all the greenery. Again, I'm going to try to use a dry brush. Let's see if I can get it looking dry. Well, right now it's wet, obviously. But it starts out wet. They all start out wet, actually. Let me just spread this around. Get some yellow in there. It's kind of like starting out with a watercolor, a very rough watercolor look, and then taking it and making more of the details kind of stand out. Do that over here too. And some of the starker, the starker and darker greens. Some of that areas get darker. We'll come back to that. Let's see, bring this over here. Now that it's starting to dry, I can kind of poke it around a little bit better. can hear a mourning dove out there. I haven't heard one in a while. You hear it? Maybe you can hear it. I don't know. It's very, very distance. There we go. Let me get some in the background here. Get this watered down on purpose. Yes, this is all behind McDonald's. It's hard to believe, right? You get so you get your eyes get so tunnel vision with the world that you forget there's stuff behind things. There's hidden things. It's starting to happen. It's starting to look like something. Let's get some of this over here now. Some of this darker grass. This was all in the shade. So I'm going to make sure this looks light and that looks dark. And it's got kind of an orangish, greenish look. It's kind of a mixture of green and orange. At least in my mind's eye. I can maybe take a few liberties here with the color. You know, the sky is so blue that it kind of is, I think, a nice contrast to put some orange in there, or some reds or something. And of course the individual blades of grass will be catching light here and there. You know, so what is your thinking on reference photos? Do you feel like you have to capture the exact thing that the photograph captures, or are you more the way I think? It's just a reference. It's just a place. It's a setting that you want to try to capture the essence of, but not necessarily try to reproduce the photograph. That's exactly how I feel about reference photos. Now, that's different than if you're using a reference photo for a portrait. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's completely different. A reference photo for a portrait. You know, even with a portrait, you don't want to capture, you don't want to reproduce the photograph. Okay, can I talk about this for a second here? I've done a lot of portraits. Let me tell you something. You can make a portrait look so painterly that it's a beautiful work of art. Not to say that the original photograph wasn't a beautiful work of art, but if you think about lighting, okay, think about a movie that you've seen where the lighting director was really talented at his or her craft, and they put people almost backlit, almost dark, and you realize, oh my gosh, that looks so good. Now try to recreate that in your painting. And my old school way was doing that. Okay, this is old school now. I know you could do it digitally, but my old school way of doing that was with a pencil or maybe charcoal. And what you do is you basically do the whole portrait, but just as a pencil drawing or as a charcoal drawing. And then you have take some liberties with it. This is not going to be the work of art that you're going to turn over to the client, or that you're going to hang up on your mother's wall or whatever. This is just a piece of art that is going to teach you how to do the portrait that you really want to do. I have seen so many people do portraits from a photograph, and then you look at the photograph and the portrait and they look identical, and they're so proud of that. And you know, it is something to be proud of, but you could just take it another step forward. Go to a museum and look at some of the portraits that are in there, and look at the lighting. Look at the lighting on how the subjects are lit. Sometimes they're not even lit. Sometimes your eye fools you. The lighting is in the background. That's right. So if you keep that in mind, I think you will find that you'll be very, very happy with your portraits. I stay away from portraits mostly. Obviously I did sort of one yesterday with the Taylor Swift song. It wasn't really a portrait of anybody though. It just I had a model that I found on the internet, and I didn't even reproduce her look. I just reproduced the features, I guess you would say. Okay. now I think we got all this in here. And now it's time to try to add some of the little things that make this pop out. Because right now it almost looks right now like a blurry picture, which is good. A blurry picture is nothing wrong with a blurry picture, but I want it to be better. So there's a lot of little limbs in here, a lot of dark limbs and light limbs. Put a few of the light ones, the dark ones first. Just get some of these in here. Get some of these little areas here that have where some of these limbs can be seen. Some very sharp lines here. Very thin lines, I mean. In the distance there's a lot of this. And I do not paint every single branch. I do not paint every single blade of grass. That's crazy. That's crazy to think I do that. Maybe it appears that way. It's not what I do, though. Oh gosh. You never know what a new year's going to bring. You never know what tomorrow brings. I mean, let alone a whole year. You know, but I guess we mark time with numbers, and that's part of who we are as people. We mark things in years. I was watching a couple of different years in review things, and one of the things that kind of strikes you and makes you feel sad is when they review all the people who have died in the past year. You know, we've had people in my own family who have died this year. I'm guessing you have too. Well, not this year, but 2024. Yeah. So last year on New Year's Day, we didn't know that some of the people we were still with wouldn't be with us. Never know. Life is a mystery. Right? Alright, let's get some of those light colored branches. Those are the ones that really attract me. There's a lot of them in this painting. There's a lot of little areas of light. There's a lot of Spanish moss, as you know. I'm not using any fresh gouache today. I'm just using the reactivated gouache. However, you never know. Never say never. That's one of the things I like about gouache is I can paint over the painting. get some straight from the tube. what? I think I'm done. I think that's good enough. I'm just picking it at this point. Anyway, so there's my scene for day 18 in my art journal. Day 18 in my art journal is behind McDonald's. Alright, thank you for watching. I'm sorry I stopped talking. I just ran out of things to say. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Happy New Year.